everyone, it's Sami from Sami's Sweet Life, and this is probably going to be my favorite video to film all year long. This is the planner regrets video where I get to unleash all of my crazy and share it with you guys. Now, some of these were not actually purchased in 2023, so keep that in mind. Some of these planner regrets are just kind of overarching categories and thoughts moving into more years with planning under my belt. Some of it is just me learning what I like and what I don't like. It's also me being able to be a little bit snarky about planners that I actually don't particularly like. I moved my chair. And I'm very excited to film this video. My planner regrets of 2022 actually got really good views, and I was surprised I got so much feedback and comments from people about the video. I really thought it was going to be one of those videos that people watched and just absolutely hated, because I could see myself getting really defensive if somebody's like, ew, I don't like this planner, and it happens to be my personal favorite planner. If I saw somebody saying that, I might feel the need to like defend my planner choice. So I really hope you guys go into this video with a more lighthearted approach, not that I'm attacking your favorite planner company, because there are definitely a lot of planners in this stack that I have other planners from the same company, or I appreciate the planner, but it didn't work for me specifically. So I'm not coming at this with just malice. I'm coming at this from like a snarky point of view and just really unleashing my crazy. Like, how many planners does one human need? I know I do this as a side gig on this channel, and I do generate a little bit of ad money, but it does not cover what planners I purchase. Like, flat out, I spend way more than this channel generates as far as income goes. So I'm definitely spending my own money on some of these planners out of pocket, not funded from this channel. So keep that in mind too, that I'm looking at it as a giant pile of money. Like, this is the giant pile of money that I shouldn't have spent, and it could have been money, but instead it's planners. So if I call some company, I'm like, hey, can I pay you in planners? They're gonna be like, WTF. So just keep that in mind, that I'm looking at this from a practical standpoint. When I'm purchasing planners during planner launch season and everything, I'm super excited about the planners. You know, it's the best thing ever. I'm super excited about it. Well, this is the excitement wearing off and me just looking at the planners that haven't been used. In some cases, particularly liked certain planners. Sometimes it feels like an aspirational goal to use a certain planner, where it can definitely be like, oh, I want this planner for XYZ, and it never comes to anything. And I have too many, so I can't use all of the planners. So going into 2024 purchases, I was way more picky for 2024. I thought I was being picky for 2023, looking at the planner regrets of 2022, and I was not nearly as picky as I needed to be. And again, moving into 2024, I probably wasn't as picky as I needed to be again, but I definitely learned some things throughout this giant planner regret stack. So with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and hop into this stack. You know, my disclaimer is, please don't be offended by anything I'm gonna say in this video. It's supposed to be lighthearted. It's supposed to be a learning experience personally for me. So I'm just sharing what I have learned throughout 2023 with this planner regret stack. So starting it off with actually one of my absolute favorite planner companies, Makselife. So I ended up purchasing two planners for 2023 from them, but I got the same layout, which is unfortunate, because halfway through the year I was like, oh, you know what? I really could have used a vertical layout. Well, guess what? Both of my 2023 planners were horizontal layouts, so that was a big mistake. What I learned from this was get one of each. Like I said, I'm unleashing the crazy. So for 2024, I got one vertical and one horizontal Makselife planner, so that I have one of each and I can alternate back and forth as needed. But this was a total regret. Like, I'm excited that I got this one. I used it for a tiny bit of time, but I couldn't use both. You know, there's lots of goal setting stuff in these planners. I don't need two, but now I have both layouts, so I can alternate and flip back and forth between the layouts. And for 2024, another big draw was they changed from the O-wire. They changed to a spiral, so I can Franken-plan it with things. But this one, total regret right here. Like, getting a second horizontal spread in the same planner, total regret. I moved a planner, so this is going to be just a heaping category here. All of these are planner regrets. They're all gratitude-y type journals. Intentions, gratitude. I have more than is in this stack, at least one or two more. I don't tend to like these kind of guided journals that much. I just haven't used them all that much. So I've got one from Makselife. I've got two from Erin Condren, various ones. This one's from Ink and Volt. This one's from Powersheets, or, you know, Cultivate What Matters is the company name. I don't like these as much as I like just a plain old piece of paper. You know, a plain old dot grid or lined notebook. I don't need these. I don't tend to use these very much. And throughout the year, I filled out some of one of these and barely touched the others. So this is a total huge whopping learning regret right here, is I don't need the intention journals and the mantra journals and the gratitude journals. I just don't tend to use them nearly as much as I think I will. So yeah, this whole category for me is out the window. So that was a big whole stack. Another general purpose stack I've got here is budget journals. I was really excited to budget journal for 2023, and I got 4 different budget journals here. And guess what? I used one of them a couple of months and then went to an app. And I've been using the app on my phone consistently since last fall. So it's been a year now since I've gotten that. And I haven't touched these. I've barely written in any of these. I used this one for a few months. I don't know that I even wrote anything in these other 3. So this is a big, huge waste category for me. I just personally don't use it. And I thought, you know, writing pen to paper would be more effective. Well, it's not. I totally use the app and don't need to write it down. I've got one from Shelly, total regret. I've got one from Clever Fox, total regret. I've got one from Solite. This one was sent to me, but again, plain regret, haven't touched it. And then one from Erin Condren, plain regret, haven't touched it. So there's 4 different ones in the same overarching category of budget journaling. And I see more budget planners and I'm thinking to myself, oh, I love that. It looks great. I want to review it. I want to use it. Then it sits in the pile. So again, another category knocked out just by doing a little bit of reflecting. And then these 2 stacks are various different planners that we'll cover, but this giant stack on the side, I'm going to try to make some room here so you can see. This giant stack is another overarching category. This is just straight up notebooks. Like, how many notebooks does one human need? And this is not all of the notebooks that I have acquired for 2023. Some of them might be from 2022, but overarching idea is I don't need this many notebooks. I've blasted through maybe like 3 notebooks the entire year, like an entire year. I don't need gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs of notebooks. It's just a little bit overkill, you know, and I've accumulated so many this year. So Hubman and Chuck Girl, I've got tons and tons of their notebooks. Love them, have fully used one. I've gotten like 8 of these. So yeah, I don't need any more. Planner regret, why am I spending money on cute little notebooks? It totally gets me every time when they come out with a cute little notebook. Yeah, I've used literal one, like one all the way through. So yeah, don't need to do that. Don't need to waste money on that. Again, some Erin Condren ones. I've got A5 ones, I've got larger ones in this stack. They're so cute. Like, I love Hello Kitty. It's bright and colorful. I see a shiny new one and I gotta have it. So again, haven't been touched because one human cannot use this many notebooks. It's just the sheer volume of notebooks is too much. Also, I got the rainbow notebooks from Makselife. Each set came with 8 notebooks. They have a dot grid, they have a lined version. I bought both packs. Why did I buy both packs? I have no idea. They were pretty, they were shiny, they were in rainbow colors. I had to have them. I bought 2 giant packs of notebooks. Why? I asked myself, why did I do this? Again, another notebook. I saw Cindy cover this A5. It's from Staples and the Martha Stewart line, and it was gorgeous, and I love it. I love the stitching on it. I love the like cross-hatch pattern of it. Have I touched it? Have I actually used it? Have I used any disc-bound thing at all this year? No. I've confirmed, no, I haven't. I set it up, like I put some daily pages in here, have not actually used a disc system at all this whole entire year. So again, total planner regret, total fail on my part, just like succumbing to the beauty of that. And you can see there's a theme here. It's like, I see something, I want to review it for this channel. It's sparkly, it's new, it's beautiful, but don't need to purchase all of the planners. I don't need to review all of the planners. And that is this video. It's like, oh my gosh, what is this? Why? Like, why do I have a shelf full of notebooks and planners when I use a few? It's just too much. So I'm definitely scaling down for 2024. This is just all of the, you know, the aspirational part of being a planner YouTuber and being a collector. Like, that's just my personality. I want to collect them all like Pokemon. Yeah, still got more notebooks to go in this category. An Archer and Olive bullet journal. It's absolutely gorgeous, like stunningly beautiful. It's sparkly. I had to have it. I don't bullet journal. Like, there's very few actual things in here. I've done a little bit in the front, and it's an aspirational one. I wish I was creative enough to doodle and make it gorgeous like some of the bullet journals out there. I'm just not that person. Why did I buy it and buy the paint pens and all that? I don't know. Aspirational goal. I wish I was that person. I'm not that bullet journaling type of creative person. I need an actual like outlined planner, so total regret. And this one's not cheap, you know, this is a full year's worth of bullet journal right here in this big chunky one. Also have one from Posy Paper. Why did I need another one? Who knows? It didn't get used. Also have quite a few from Erin Condren here. These are just Erin Condren notebooks. And again, I've taken one to like dance competitions over the last few years so I can take ideas and notes. Did not need multiples. Like these are all Erin Condren. This one has an Erin Condren cover, but it's a plum paper planner notebook. And again, like I've maxed out a few of these and gotten these big, giant, chunky notebooks from Plum Paper Planner. I'm set for paper for life, guys. Like I don't need more notebooks. I don't know. Sometimes I look at the stack of notebooks and I was like, what in the world was I thinking? Like, why am I still purchasing more cute little notebooks? Letting out all the crazies in this video. So all of these notebooks, why? Why did I do it? I use like maybe 3 notebooks a year. So I'm good for like a decade now. So there you go, there's the notebook. So I'm trying to commit to not buying more notebooks. Like, hello, I don't need more notebooks. Okay, getting a little bit more serious. Let's talk planners. One of my biggest regrets, I'm gonna flip actually another one on top. One of my biggest regrets over the last 2 years is putting money into Powersheets and not actually using it. It's good for science, good for comparing and contrasting planners, but this is one that's consistently not sold for me. Like I can see how many planners I sell as an affiliate, and I've made like $10 in 2 years off of planners that I spent like 60 bucks a piece on. So this is a huge regret. I'm glad that I got one initially, reviewed it initially, don't need to purchase anymore, will not be purchasing for 2024. So huge regret, very expensive planner that does work for some people, doesn't work for my audience, my subscribers, doesn't work for me personally. Again, gorgeous planner. They changed the tabs for 2024, so the tabs are back to being colorful, whereas in 2023 they went with these really neutral looking tabs and took out a lot of the bright colors from the inside. So the 2024 changes really got me wanting one just because it's so beautiful. Like the florals that they choose are just right up my alley. And then in practicality, this planner system, this goal system does not work for me. And it took me 2 years to learn that. Like, why did it take me 2 years? I don't know, but I finally am like, okay, I'm not buying a Powersheets for 2024. And it's sad in a way because it's just so pretty and I like to be able to review it for you guys and walk through it. From a practical standpoint, it's just money I'm spending on something I'm not really using. And yeah, I have to say goodbye to this one. So this is a big regret. Next up, as far as sort of big regrets, this one's only a regret in one sense though. I did purchase a golden coil for 2023. I have used it as my content planner all year long. This one is cover to cover used up as far as the weekly pages. I went above and beyond and added pages to it. So that's one of my regrets from this one is I added tons of pages, maxed out the size of this planner. It's a big chunky monkey planner, but I've only used the actual weekly pages in here. And this planner is the most expensive planner I have purchased. Like personally, this was an upwards of $90 planner. And while it is a really nice planner, the cover is really nice. I love the feeling of the sleek, smooth cover. Love the toothy paper. Can't really show much because it has stuff in it, but I love their toothy paper. It's too expensive, just plain honkin' way too expensive for what you get. It's a year worth of planner. It is on the O-wire, so I don't really love the O-wire. I can't frankenplan it with anything because it's a weird size. Just the logistics of it are not great. The price point of this one is astronomically expensive. To me, it's not worth it for what I got. You know, I used it, I loved it, would not repurchase just based on the price point of this one. It's a luxury planner and it's too expensive. Just honest to goodness, too expensive. So it's in the regrets category. And while I did use it and loved it, I won't be purchasing it again. And it's a regret only because it was so expensive and I could have done the job with a much more reasonable price point planner. So I'm glad I reviewed it for you guys, but it's a regret. Now, as far as regrets of planners that I just didn't get to, like I like the planner, didn't get to using it very much. I've got a few of those. One of those is this Ashley Shelly Daily. And while I think the layout is nice, in practicality, it just, for some reason, never really appealed to me after the initial like, ooh, it's beautiful, I love it. I went to using it and just didn't find it enjoyable for me personally. Again, it's on an O-wire. You're sensing some sort of theme here that O-wire planners for me are just not my favorite. That's what this one is. It's an O-wire. It's beautiful. Love the bright tabs. Love the bright cover. In practical use, it was not for me. And then this one is a semi-regret. I'm putting this in because I regretted purchasing the undated Hemlock and Oaks. I really thought like midway through the year to get a Hemlock and Oak, and they were out of certain colors, and I wasn't really into what they had in stock as far as the dated planners, and I thought, you know, it's like halfway through the year, why am I getting a dated planner? So I went ahead and got undated versions and regretted that. I really wish I had just gotten the dated ones because I really wanted a dated one. Like, this is a beautiful layout. I plan on actually using one for 2024. I did purchase an actual 2024 when they came out, but I just don't love undated planners in general, so I don't know why I went that route with this one. I should have just gotten one of the dated ones that maybe was the not perfect color, you know, different color choice than I would have wanted, but it would have been dated and I would have gotten more use out of it. So I rectified that for 2024 and did get a dated version of this. But as far as aesthetics, again, like beautiful, beautiful book. I put it in my favorites in multiple categories because it is a favorite of mine, but I just wish I hadn't gotten undated. So that's the regret I have with this one. Not that I regret getting into Hemlock and Oak because I think they're gorgeous planners and I do plan on using them for 2024, but it is a big regret that I bought two undated versions when I could have saved myself some trouble and just got a dated one. And again, as far as like aspirational, used potential of a planner, I have two Agendios that I barely touched, and these ones are some of the best customizable options. Like, I customized this down to the section, the segment. I put the checklist, I put the lines I wanted. I customized this thing so wonderfully. I don't know why there's a line on that. Oh, it's because it's on the back side. There's a weekly overview. So I like spent so much time customizing this planner and making it just right, tweaking it, and then didn't hardly use it at all. And I really thought this was going to be like the planner I used for 2023. Haven't barely touched it. So this is one I could totally repurpose in the future, like cover up the day or something on these, because it's such a pretty planner. Love the paper. It's just that like potential aspirational planner where I was like, yes, I'm going to use this, and then just didn't. There's nothing I have to say bad about it except the covers. I don't like the covers, but you can replace those with Erin Condren ones. It's just the fact that it was just buying too many planners, so it's a regret that I didn't get to this one. Next up is the Posy Paper Co planner. So I was really excited about this one, and I got this as a budget pick because it is one of the more budget-friendly options that I did purchase for 2023. But again, like, I just didn't love it. I found that everything about it was just fine, except they don't have much weekend space. So this becomes unusable for a lot of people, and I probably could have gotten away with using it more than I did. It just, I don't know, something about the color scheme I didn't really love, and it's a different size from other planners. It's on a different coil than other planners. You guys know how I feel about these kind of covers. I don't like them at all whatsoever. So it was just a dud for me, honestly. I love the idea of it. I thought I could use it as a fitness planner, and I really, really liked this particular page, like this dashboard page on the tab. I think it's a great little option for a budget pick, but it's just a regret for me because it's just something that moving into 2023, I looked at it and I'm like, I'm not going to really use this one. I just got it to review it and then fell out of love with it. Next up, a whole category, is the MomAgenda. Of course, I think these are gorgeous planners. Like, this planner will stay on my shelf because it's beautiful. But in practical use, I find this layout completely unusable for me, even though I've tried it out. Like, I've tried it out a little bit. Here's another one I tried out. The main premise of this is you put in your kids' names or whatever categories you want, and it's with a mom of multiple children in mind. So like, I have two kids, they would each get their own spot like I did here. You could put your husband in too. I put what days he went to work and what date nights we had and whatever. I like the idea of this, and then in practical use, it's too many compartments for me to deal with. It was also a vertical spread, which I'm not a huge fan of vertical. Especially for this last year, I was like gung-ho for horizontal spreads. I don't like the paper's a little bit creamy colored. I just didn't find the layout to be my favorite, and I could see where this one would work for somebody, so I'm glad I reviewed it, and I'm glad I got this one just because sitting on the shelf is gorgeous. I love this blush croc pattern that they had. I also really like this leopard print as well, but I found that in practical use, this is just not one I'm drawn to at all whatsoever. Like, there's space for your kids on here. It's just not one that I would gravitate towards. As beautiful as it is, in practical use, it's just not the one for me. All right, moving on to my last stack here. I'm going to cover this one really quick before we dive into Tomoe River paper planners. So this one is the companion notebooks. Now I got these from Makselife. This is something you use instead of a flagship planner if you're going to have like a folio or whatever. These are undated little A5 notebooks, and while it's a great concept, great idea, love it for people who are going to use these in like a folio system, or their planner option is an A5, so they can just slip this in with their A5. For me, it just was something that I knew right off the bat I was going to use the flagship. I wanted it to be dated. You guys sense a theme. I don't like undated planners very much. This was just a dud. I never ended up really using it very much because I already used the flagship for the last 2 years. So I did purchase it, and I wish I hadn't because it's like 60 bucks for this set of notebooks. It's a year's worth of planning and reflection pages. Yeah, it was a total dud for me. I love that for other people if it's something that would work for you, but I found in practical use, like, this page is hella small for me. I'm a big handwriting person, so like writing in all of my weekly stuff in this little teeny tiny box totally did not fit the bill for me. And it was a huge regret. As beautiful as they are, as nice quality as they are, they're a huge regret for me spending money on something that I'm not going to get any value out of. And then let's talk Tomoe River paper planners for a second. I put this Aura Estelle in here because I did end up getting multiple different versions of almost the same exact planner from them, and now I'm glad that I reviewed them because I do want one of their planners for 2024. I haven't yet purchased it yet because I missed their pre-order. Found that I got 2 planners that were very similar, a weekly index and then this one, which they are calling Weekly Essential. It's basically a horizontal spread, and then this one has a note page in between, whereas the index one only has this horizontal spread with no note page in between, so it's even thinner than this one. Now I'm just regretting and questioning why I got 2 very similar planners that I would use in the same exact way. Why did I get 2? And going along with that, neither one actually got much use. Did I even write in this one? I don't think I even wrote in this one. I did write in the index one, like planning out content and stuff, but I got 2 of almost the exact same planner. I could have totally gotten one, still been able to review it, and then mentioned the other one. Like, I didn't have to actually purchase physically both. I did spend my own money purchasing them to review. I don't know why I got 2, and they're dated again. Like, it's dated, so I'll have to repurpose it if I use it in the future. And I do like one of their other layouts, but it's one of those things like I don't have to purchase every planner to review a planner company, and I can still cover all the planners without having to purchase every single one. So it's a regret that I purchased 2 very, very similar planners. It's just one of those WTF moments for myself. Like, why did I end up spending money purchasing 2? All right, I adjusted my legs. And the next Tomoe River paper planner regret for me was the Take a Note planner. So I purchased this one late in the game. When I found Tomoe River paper planners, I saw this one on Instagram. I was like, I have to have that planner. I love the layout of it, but I totally made a huge mistake and purchased the A6 size when I meant to purchase the A5 size, this big one. I got the A6 size one, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll review it. I wanted to keep it because I actually ended up liking this size. You can see I did a little bit of planning in here. I ended up liking the actual size of it. I think it's cute. I love the aesthetics of this planner so much. This is probably one of the ones I like the most. It has the browns with the grays, and it's so clean and crisp, and I love the unboundness of the book. I absolutely love how beautiful it is, but in practical use, these grids are so tiny. Like, the Tomoe River paper planners have grids that are pretty small. This is way, way, way smaller than the grid on like a sterling ink planner. This is unusable for me. This is so teeny tiny. I would have to use 2 lines in here to actually write anything. So the A6, while I enjoyed the size of it and I love the aesthetic of all of the Take a Notes, they're just gorgeous planners, it's a total regret because it's something I cannot actually physically use. I physically can't write small enough to stay in the grids for this A6 planner. So when I had gotten this one and loved the look of it, I did end up seeking out the 2023 A5 size planner. And again, just think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous planner. I love the idea of it, where you get like the weekly overview and each day has this section for journaling. And I find these grids are a little bit small too. They're not nearly as small as the A6 grids. You can see, hopefully you can zoom in. I'll zoom in a little bit and show you guys what they look like, but they're still smaller than the sterling ink and all those other grid squares. Let's see, the Aura Estelle is also the same grid spacing as most of the other planners. Let's see if I can find a This one's so light though, it might be hard to see. So look, like this is the normal grid spacing. I think it's a 4mm grid. This one's smaller. Like it doesn't seem like much, but it really makes a difference when you have big handwriting. It's hard to write in these. So as far as practical use, again, this one's really hard for me to use. And if you think for 1 second I'm gonna struggle bus trying to use a planner, you're dead wrong. I'm just not. If it's hard for me to use the planner, I'm not gonna use the planner. So it's one of those that I love everything about it except the grid spacing, and it totally becomes unusable and undesirable for me because I just don't love it. I tried using it and the grid spacing is just too hard for me to overcome. And sadly, I regret this one so much. I fell in love with it, fell in love with all the aesthetic of it, and this one's like the worst, most painful regret for me because it's so pretty. I wanted to love it. I wanted to use it. I really thought seriously hard about getting a 2024 and trying again. And then I really just had to dig deep and be like, okay, I have to admire it from afar because in practical use, I just know I'm going to get frustrated with the smaller grid and not love it as much as I love like the idea of it and look of it. The grid just, oh, it just sucks. All right, moving on from that one, I've got a few various ones. So I've got one more Erin Condren, the softbound. I love this one. It's from Edavi. I think it's gorgeous. Again, it's gonna sit on my bookshelf just because it's beautiful, but I barely used this one. I had really high hopes for using this for my photo a day and found that I don't need to actually physically paper keep track of my photo a day because I'm doing it on my app. I don't need this as a duplication step. It really just added some work into the process. So I dated everything. It's beautiful. I did end up keeping track of some of the photo a day stuff and then really finding out quick that it was not going to work. So as far as layouts go, I really enjoyed planning in this one. I did 1 week of actually planning in here. Like, look how pretty that ended up turning out. I love the look of it. I love the size of it. So it's definitely a planner that I can repurpose for the future if I want to, because I do love this layout. I love the pops of color. I love that the Edavi planners used Edavi colors. Like, these are gorgeous colors that they ended up using for this one. I just found that I didn't get enough use out of it. And look, like rose gold edges, everything about this one is just gorgeous. It's a regret because I just did not get to it. Like, did not find a good use for this one, but it's definitely one I could repurpose by just adding a sticker over these dates. So again, planner regret, but a gorgeous planner regret. It's like very popular theme is me seeing a planner, loving the look of it just because I'm a collector and I'm a very visual person, and then in practical use, not being able to use all the planners that I love and think are beautiful. So that's a regret just because it didn't get good use. And now this is a regret just from a practical standpoint. I love the folios. I've got folios from Erin Condren and Makselife. Love the A5 folio. So I was thinking, oh, I'll just get some plum paper things to fit in with that. And I don't like these at all. I think this is a big, giant fail. I love the idea of it. Get a lot of their different customized options. But for one, they're undated. So I don't like the undatedness. For two, they are not actual true A5. So this is an A5 size. These ones are a little bit narrow, so it doesn't actually fit the same exact way. And these are called saddle stitch, like stitch, you know, like sewing, and they're stapled. And that's a saddle stitch. Like, this is a saddle stitch. It's a staple. I find that incredibly misleading. And you guys know I love Plum Paper Planner. They're one of my OG absolute favorite planner companies. These are a fail for me. It needs to show that these are stapled. I find it really misleading because they look like they're little sewn books, and I have like makeup smeared on this. They look like they are sewn books. When you're looking online, you don't really get the pictures of the staples. It doesn't say staple in the description of it. So I find this really off-putting for me to get something that says the word stitch. So you think sewing, but when you research saddle stitch, it is a staple, like an actual staple term. I find that incredibly misleading. Whereas a lot of the other notebooks that I've gotten are sewn. So when they're saying stitched or sewn, they mean legit stitched and sewn. And I do like this kind of binding. I don't like this kind of binding. And I think it's really needs to be more clear that these are not actually stitch sewn books. They're saddle stitch stapled books. It's a big difference for me. Like, looking at it, I don't like the look of these. I don't like how they're done. Here's a week I used it, so I had to use some stickers. It works great. I do love the grid with lines layout, but in practicality, they're the wrong size for my folio systems, and then they have the staples. If I had known going into it that they would be stapled, I probably wouldn't have purchased as many as I did purchase. I purchased like 5 or 6 of these little notebooks. Also, I would have had that expectation that, oh, it's a stitched book, so I wouldn't have expected a sewn book. So that's just a big honkin' regret fail for me right there. And then as far as like aspirational things, the Plum Paper Planner hardcovers are the best. I'm super happy that they went this route. My regret for this one is an aspirational one. Again, like I love the compact vertical, or they call it grid with lines. I've used a little bit of it here and there, but it was just one of those ones that I just didn't get to. I just plain can't get to all of the planners, and I love this color scheme. I love this cover. I just didn't get to it, and this is one I definitely think about repurposing for next year because I love the cover of it. I love the coils that they offer. Everything about it's beautiful. It just is one I didn't get to. So while I'm like ragging on Plum Paper Planner for these atrocious things, I love them for this improvement. Doing the hardcovers is a big game changer. One of my favorite planners all year has been the Plum Paper Planner that I used for my fitness planner. I will switch to a different one because this one was like way too beefy. I didn't need as much metrics and tracking as I had in this one. And I've seriously considered repurposing this one for my fitness planner for next year just because it's gorgeous. And I love Plum Paper Planner in general, just with the exception of these saddle stitch notebooks. Like as much as I ragged on them here, that's how much more I love them for this. You know, I just love this one. It's just a regret because I didn't get to it, but there you go. There's my giant pile of planner regrets. Yes, in the comment section, please try to be kind and don't be like, wow, you really are planner crazy. And yeah, it's true. Total planner crazy. Totally have way too many planners, and I have a whole stack on the floor of planners. So there is my whole planner regrets list for 2023. It's a lot. It's totally eye-opening, like pulling the planners off the shelf. I looked at all the planners on the shelf and pulled out so many of them, and there are even more notebooks and various little specialty things I could have pulled out to just make the stack bigger, but I covered the topics anyway in this video. So there you go. There are my planner regrets. And like I said, some of these you will have seen or will see in the favorite videos for 2023 because some of them do overlap, but I wanted to just really outline the sheer volume of crazy that went on this year as far as planning goes. So moving into 2024, my planner stacks are much smaller and much more well thought out. So hopefully I don't go as overboard, and hopefully I don't have as big of a regrets list for 2024. Hope you guys liked it. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Let me know if you have any planner regrets. Did you buy too many planners this year? Let me know what your planner regrets are. Like and subscribe. I'm on the way to 10,000 subscribers, and I would love for you to hit that button if you made it this far in the video. I definitely hope you stick around and watch some other planner goodness from me. It's probably going to be way more positive than this one. Have a great day, and I will catch you next time. Bye.